Good morning and welcome to the Chamber of Commerce Mayoral Forum. We're thrilled to have you here today as this important conversation about the future of Wallingford. First, we'd like to extend our thanks to our sponsors, Ulbrich Stainless Steels and Specialty Metals, for supporting this event and making it possible, and also a deep appreciation to our host, Gaylord Specialty Health, for providing this wonderful space and the commitment to providing excellence to the community. At this time, I'd like to bring up Joe Andrews from Gaylord to say a few words.
Good morning and welcome everybody to the Mayoral Forum, and we're very happy to host this on behalf of the Chamber. I'm a proud member of the Chamber and I work here in the Development Office at Gaylord. I'd also like to introduce my colleague Kevin Johnson, who is our Legislative Liaison, as well as Sales Manager here at Gaylord. We're very proud to be hosting the candidates today, and Gaylord is very special to the Wallingford community. We're very grateful to be hosting this today. If anybody would like any more information on Gaylord, please see Kevin or I after the forum. But again, welcome, and I'm going to get back to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin is also one of our proud board members on the Chamber Board, so we are thrilled to have you join us this past year. Thank you very much for having us again today. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly go over the format of today's forum. Each candidate will be given 3 minutes for opening statement. We will then proceed to a series of questions. Each candidate will be given 3 minutes to respond. After all questions have been asked and responses for candidates, there will be a 3-minute closing remarks as well. Please note, there will be no rebuttals after responses, as this is not a debate format, but a forum for candidates to share their ideas and visions for the future of Wallingford. We're grateful for both of you both to be here today, and thank you for sharing your perspectives on this beautiful community that we all live and work in. Let's begin by opening remarks from each candidate, and I'd like to start with Ms. Cella.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce and Ulbrich Steel for putting on this forum, also for Gaylord for hosting, and also WPAA-TV for recording. Appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity to be engaged on my vision for Wallingford and to inspire a better future for us all. I am running for mayor because I see so much potential in Wallingford. I love living here and I have built my life around this community. When I first moved here in 1999, the thing that struck me most was how much Wallingfordites support Wallingfordites. Whether it be word of mouth or social media, everyone seems conscious of making sure to support Wallingford whenever they can. That deep sense of community and support has always been striking. I also witness it when there is a disaster, how quickly support sites pop up and people rally together, whether to support families or individuals or businesses. I've been an active part of the fabric of Wallingford since I arrived. I was chair of the Beth Israel Synagogue for 10 years, and under my leadership, we revitalized that small community. We went from shabby, aging space that was losing membership and struggling to attract young families to reversing that trend and rebuilding our school, refurbishing our social hall and sanctuary into a warm and attractive space. We made smart investments in the properties around the building, allowing us to have outdoor space for potential future expansion, as well as a parking lot. I am proud of the transformation and the residual impact to this day. Likewise, when I took over as chair of the Wallingford Democratic Town Committee, our group, there was little in the way of organization or digital presence. We quickly went from nothing to creating websites, email listservs, functional committees like communications and fundraising, started organizing social media and connecting to voters. We raised $50,000 our first municipal campaign, which was probably more than we had raised in the 5 to 10 years combined prior to my leadership. We have made steady gains in Democratic voter turnout and registration, and while we have not won yet, all signposts indicate we are moving in the right direction. But even more important than all that has been creating a community space for people who are interested in working for meaningful change in Wallingford and can come together and feel less alone. I've built a powerful team of leaders, new candidates, fresh faces, ready to be part to help Wallingford grow and succeed. Likewise, in my position of manager of project funding for a large distributed generation solar company, I work cross-departmentally to get multi-million-dollar projects built and funded by banks and investors. We are always training and creating process improvements to make sure we are delivering better and faster each time, because unless those projects are timely done and done perfectly with all correct documentation, our lenders won't lend against them. I am ready to deliver that same kind of excellence to the people of Wallingford for all our future endeavors. We'd be smart to reject leadership that isn't. Thank you.
Mayor Cervoni.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the Quinnipiac Chamber for organizing this event, WPAA for providing video support, Gaylord for hosting it. I'm sorry, I hear you can't hear me. Okay, better? Is that better? All right, and all of you for taking the time to be here, be present. So what I bring to this seat, the seat I've held for 21 months, is municipal experience that started at the beginning of the millennium. I took the opportunity to represent municipalities in the first 10 years of the millennium, and then was elected to the Wallingford Town Council. I served as vice chair my second term, and then for the 5 terms that followed, I was chairman of the Town Council for 10 years. I have a holistic view of this town that came from all of my experience in working on town projects and supporting them during my tenure. What I bring to this office is really a grand view of this town. I remember hearing 2 years ago that Wallingford was at a crossroads. I'll take this one step further. Wallingford is a crossroads. We are a worldwide business community. We are a town where businesses produce things that go into the commerce stream throughout the world. You heard about Olbrich being our sponsor. They produce things that are in your hand every day, like the metal membrane under your key fob. That's the kind of business community we have in this town, and it provides a great backbone. In addition to big businesses like Olbrich, we have 2,200 businesses, small businesses registered in this town. Business is the backbone of this community, and I have spent my entire career in government supporting businesses. Why is that important? It provides support for our tax base. It makes Wallingford a more affordable place to live. What I've also done in my 2 years is I've commenced a survey of our town assets, of our town buildings, and what we need to do to them. Those surveys have been completed, are in the hands of architects, and plans are being formulated so that we can strengthen our town infrastructure and make sure that it's here to stay and support businesses. Throughout my answers this morning, you'll hear about how Town Hall is a friendlier place for business and how we work and collaborate with the community to keep this a business-friendly experience for the people of Wallingford. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Cervoni. Now we'll proceed with the questions. Vinny, Mayor Cervoni, I will start with you first. What do you see as the most pressing issue facing Wallingford right now, and how would you address it?
So with this latest budget year, we have concerns about affordability. Because of revaluation, which was forced upon us a year early, our residential taxpayers experience a significant increase in their taxes, while government spending only went up 3.9%. That's not what homeowners saw. And because of that, we need to be mindful about the cost of running this town. We also need to continue to promote this town, a worldwide town where you can come here and join a worldwide business community and help defray taxes for individuals. Employers in town create opportunities to live, work, and play here, and we are doing everything we can to support employers and make sure that that people have jobs, that Wallingford continues to be affordable for all age groups. I heard a lot from seniors after this budget was passed. And while Wallingford is a great place to live for seniors, we need to be mindful of the fact that many of them are on fixed incomes. So this is a big picture issue that we need to stay on top of and make sure that we are mindful of what it costs to live here, and make sure people are aware of all the benefits that go along with the experience of living in Wallingford. We're also talking about school consolidation and taking a look at the big picture, the school system throughout town, and making sure that that continues to be a thriving and positive experience for our students in town. This is the whole big picture of what Wallingford is for everyone. So those are pressing issues that I see that we will be dealing with in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Alida?
Thank you. So I'm going to take a little bit of a different tact, right? We need to support our businesses, but what exactly do businesses need? They need customers. I think this is a little loud. I'm hearing reverberation. I don't know if somebody can turn this down a little bit. I see schools as our biggest priority. We need to reverse this slow decline from the gutter. In 2015, we were number 48 in the state. Today, we are number 71. Our school ratings must improve so that we can attract young families. We know other towns are growing, and we must position ourselves to compete. Why is this important for businesses? Well, businesses need customers. If we don't have customers moving to town, people who are well-heeled, who can afford and want to move here, then we're not going to be able to provide the customer base that our businesses need to thrive. We have aging infrastructure as well. We've had 40 years of deferred maintenance. Mr. Cervoni has been part of that for the last 10. I understand that we have the facility condition assessments from the Bureau Veritas for 7 of our buildings, and that's fantastic. I reviewed those reports. That's great information. We need a plan for how we're going to address those issues, as well as we need to incorporate more of our buildings, get more of those properties evaluated, like the new police station, like all the schools. And only then we can put together a plan for how we are going to address all of that aging infrastructure. When we make ourselves attractive, families will move here, and we will be able to start reversing that decline and grow. We need oversight for our town projects. We must responsibly manage our current infrastructure projects. We need to ensure departments are overseeing and demanding that contractors who are hired are delivering the projects as promised. I understand that the mayor had no idea who was overseeing the installation of basketball and tennis courts. And while those are small potatoes, it belies bigger issues. Apparently, the new police station has a leaky roof, has mold. Their data center is in danger of overheating. We need somebody who has experience overseeing these projects and is willing to deliver excellence to Wallingford for our residents and for our businesses, so we can all thrive together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question. What strategies would you use to support small business and local nonprofits in the community of Wallingford? I'll start with myself.
And we need to be reversing our school decline. I think it's going to sound funny that I'm coming to a business forum and all I'm going to talk about is our schools. But I think that is the center of our economy and what attracts the customers that businesses need. I love what we are doing to support the downtown. I love Celebrate Wallingford Days and the Shopping Stroll Days. I think these are great ideas and should continue. But really, these only target the small businesses in one section of downtown Wallingford. We should offer every business the opportunity to be listed on our town website so that when people are looking for services, as I said, Wallingfordites want to support other Wallingfordites. I know people turn to Facebook to try to find recommendations for local businesses, but wouldn't it be better if they could turn to the town website, evaluate who's on there, who's listed as a local business, what services they offer, and then find those recommendations based on a more educated decision. I'm talking about like dog walking services, appliance repair, junk removal, construction companies, insurances, law firms, real estate companies. All of them should be listed on our town website and and people should be able to find those easily. I would also like to hold business roundtables. I love this idea of Wallingford worldwide. The mayor is absolutely correct that we have all of these businesses that are worldwide players. However, we need to have deeper conversations. Why are they here in Wallingford? What would it take for them to expand and grow? What are their plans for the future? Are they going to be employing more people? What are their wage ranges? What kinds of jobs are they offering to Wallingford? And what can Wallingford offer to them to help keep them here and attract other businesses? Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Cervoni?
Thank you. So while I was council chairman, Tim Ryan, who was then our economic development director, started a program of visiting businesses in town and having conversations with business owners in town to find out what it is that they need, what it is that we can do for them, and how it is that what they like about the town and what they find challenging. Don Crouch is our current economic development director, and those programs have continued. We are having one-on-one conversations with business owners to find out what it is that they like about Wallingford and what it is that we can do and help them to promote them. I do agree that we focus easily on our downtown. It's very attractive and it's a very easy place to promote activities and the like. We have this typical New England town where the town hall is centrally located in the crossroads of Center Street and North and South Main Street are great locations to find dining and shopping. I do agree, I would like to see more activity on the west side of town and promoting that area, and I would work with the chambers to do that. We should promote buying local. The farmers market is an example of where this town encourages us to buy local products to support our local community. We do take every opportunity available to us to have conversations to make sure that small business owners can have easy access to town hall. One of the conversations I was in with some downtown business owners involved some downtown development. There is redevelopment going on downtown, which is terrific. But that small business owner who's been involved in town for decades made a point to tell me in a crowded room that he was pleased with the access to town hall and how it has improved over the past 2 years. That forward-facing departments, permitting departments, land use departments, our fire marshal, they do a wonderful job of making sure that small business owners are supported, that we will support their projects, their expansions, and whatever else they need to keep our town vibrant for businesses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Cervoni, I'll start with the next question. How can Wallingford attract new industries and job development?
That really is something that requires collaboration. And I believe that this administration has been collaborative with business to make sure that Wallingford is open for business and friendly to business owners. An example I'll use is 5 Research Parkway, which is famous for being the formal Bristol-Myers site. That property has been vacant and not producing significant tax revenue going on 7 or 8 years. We've been promoting that site along with the professionals who typically list a piece of real estate like that. We have been approached by a developer who plans to build on the site a multi-tenant warehouse facility. So how do you help that business come into town and be successful? You open your door, you have meetings with them, with the local land use officials, and make sure they understand what it's going to take for that business to fit into that space and be successful. And that is in fact what we did. In the next Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, you are going to see that site on the agenda because they need a little help with electric infrastructure. And electric infrastructure is an example where we look to the future. You know, we have growing electricity needs in this town, and we are already having conversations about increasing the capacity. The northeast corner of town is growing in terms of business and electricity use. So we're talking about doubling the footprint of that substation to make sure that we have the capacities to support businesses that are coming into this town. Really, we're also promoting that Wallingford is a great location. Our website has a video on the homepage that tells people why Wallingford is a great place to bring your business. We took the opportunity to interview with Business View last year, talked about our vision for the town and the opportunities it presents, the quality of life you experience when you come here. Make sure that businesses are aware of that so that when they bring their business to town, they know that their employees live in a vibrant community. So it's that holistic approach that will help us be successful in bringing business to town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cella?
Thank you. So in that same 10-year period, which Mayor Cervoni has been part of this town, our top 10 employers now employ 25% fewer employees than they did 10 years ago. Not all bad news. Our smaller businesses have been adding jobs, and that's been good. But we have underutilized spaces in town, and with all we have to offer between our great location, our low electricity prices, we should be doing better. We need to explore deeper the reasons why we aren't and be honest with ourselves about what a local government can do about it. And let's focus on what we can control. And to me, the answer seems to be we have declined to invest in ourselves, and it's noticeable. People want to come and invest in a town that is investing in itself, a town that is moving forward and keeping their infrastructure maintained and attractive. That's where people want to be. Our decline in school rates has led to a decline in school-age children, young families. We're going to direct traffic to our small and medium-sized businesses. We have to be able to deliver the customers. Beyond that, we need to have conversations, and I'm glad to hear that's happening with businesses about what their long-term plans are and what they need to see for Wallingford in order for them to thrive too. I imagine we should be doing more roundtable events with these businesses, not just meeting with them one-on-one, but also support local networking for businesses. Same-sized businesses or similar industries to allow them to capitalize on each other and help each other here in town, because often businesses interact with each other and support each other. So a business that needs customers also needs supplies, and that can come from another business within Wallingford. So we need to make a team effort to bring everybody together to support the entire town. We cannot just rest on one laurel, like we have wonderful electricity prices. We cannot just rest on we need to support businesses. We need to take a holistic approach and make sure everybody is thriving, because if any section of town is not thriving, it brings us all down. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cella. Next question. What role should the town play in supporting workforce development in partnership with local schools and community colleges in the New Haven, Greater New Haven region? I'll start with you, Ms. Cella.
Thank you. So I think we need to collaborate with our schools, our colleges, our training programs, and get their input on the best practices to prepare our youth for jobs of the future. I'm going to sound like a broken record. It comes back to our schools. All careers depend on quality primary education, and so we must make sure we are setting our students up for success no matter where they go in life. Experiencing an education at a top-tier public school should be a right, not a privilege. Student achievement must be prioritized. I think examining economic and job opportunity trends is critical for developing career path options for our students, and partnering with those organizations you mentioned will be critical. Potential career paths like healthcare, nursing, new lines of work like social media and content creators, culinary arts, auto maintenance, manufacturing, firefighting, law enforcement. AI can't do all of those things, or any of those things, really. We need apprenticeships with electricians, plumbers, carpenters. I met with the Carpenters Union. All these are great alternatives to college and great career paths for folks who are not choosing college. But again, it comes down to having an excellent school system and preparing our students for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. So supporting employment in this town is vital. It's one of the things that we have here. We actually have low unemployment rates here in town, and we have tremendous job opportunities. So one of the things that I've learned over the past 2 years in talking with employers, that we have manufacturers in town. Companies like Olbrich, Holcomb, Amphenol, which is a Fortune 500 company and headquarters itself here, they have job opportunities in this town where out of high school, you can start at $22 an hour while you are trained, a training program that lasts 1 to 2 years. During that time, you're not incurring college debt. You are learning how to operate a facility in a manufacturer. And at the end of that training period, your hourly rate bumps up to $35 an hour, and you have the opportunities for overtime. These jobs are here in Wallingford, and they are under-promoted. So one of the things I started conversations with business owners about is an employers collaborative, a manufacturers employers collaborative, where we get together and we figure out how to promote in this town the great jobs we have that allow you to hit the ground running as a young person, not have school debt, and you know, potentially by age 22, you're making $70,000 a year. So that requires awareness in our education system. A lot of our curriculum in high school is focused towards college education, and we all know that that's not for everyone. You know, we do need the trades. We do need people to turn wrenches. We do need a community that can sustain and support itself, which we largely have. So ideas like that, an employers collaborative that gets inside the education system, that makes people aware that this is a great place, again, to live, work, play, that you can come here and find a job. Once you have a job here, if you're a starter, you need a place to live. So one of the things that we've been doing in this administration is looking at housing opportunities. We need places where young people can move to, affordable mid-market housing, and we need places for seniors to move to free up housing so that young people can have starter homes. So this holistic view of our community is the kind of thing that will help everybody be successful in all levels of employers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Cervoni, I'll start with you with this question. If faced with an economic downturn or global business challenges, how would you work with the Chamber of Commerce to support effective businesses and maintain community stability?
Thank you. So the Chamber of Commerce is an organization that I've belonged to over the past several years as a small business owner in town. I'm a little less active now in my current role as mayor, but I do have relationships with people in the Quinnipiac Chamber. I do see a lot of familiar and friendly faces here today with Quinnipiac Chamber members. So you need to get together, you need to put your heads together, you need to sit down in rooms, you need to make sure that people are aware of what the problem is, figure out the problem, and figure out how to solve it. You know, we've been through economic downturns in the past several decades, and in order to be able to address them head on, you need to focus on resilience in your own town. You need to make sure that people are aware that there are things like the Chamber of Commerce that provides opportunities for businesses to promote themselves and to get together and put their heads together and figure out ways to be resilient. One of the things that I took the opportunity to do as a town councilor is support incentives in this town. We have business incentives, the business office park incentive, we have the downtown development incentives, and these type of things speak to business owners and developers and say, we're going to help you. If you need help getting started in this town in a challenging economy, we're going to help you. We also entertain conversations with business owners who are facing economic challenges while they've been in this town for a while. And while relief may not come immediately and directly from government, because We operate on year-to-year budgets. We are open to having conversations and finding assistance so that employers in economic challenges can be successful. Our businesses in this town are more than our backbone. With 2,200, over 2,200 businesses in this town, they're more like the lifeblood. They flow through everything. They touch everyone. And so we need to be ready. We need to be ready to pivot and make sure that our businesses throughout town are supported during economic challenges. We also need to be mindful of costs and expenses in operating government so that taxes can remain affordable in this town. That's another way that we can help businesses. So again, this holistic view of what we do in support of our community is really what's required to keep us strong. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cella?
Can you repeat the question? I
Yep.
just want to make sure I'm...
Absolutely.
If faced with an economic downturn or local business challenges, how would you work with the Chamber of Commerce to support affected businesses and maintain community stability?
Excellent. So the question revolves around working with the Chamber of Commerce specifically during economic downturn. So I don't have the advantage of working with the Chamber of Commerce prior to today, and that's okay. Where I'm going to address is what do we do in an economic downturn, how it impacts the town, and how it impacts businesses. We've gone through economic downturns, as the mayor pointed out. In 2020, I think, was the rainiest of all rainy days that we could possibly have faced. For decades, we had been saving in our rainy day fund, and when that 2020 struck, our town failed to take advantage of it. We had a pool project that was on the deck to move forward, and Mr. Cervoni voted against it 3 times to block it from moving forward. At that point in time, there was a business who was ready to build that pool. We could have supported that business and used our rainy day fund to make that happen. Our families during that pandemic who were locked and isolated away in pods could have used that pool to have during that period when we needed it the most, right? Why did we wait? Well, now it costs millions of dollars more, and for what? For it to be a campaign promise or a campaign tactic. I just think we need to be thinking stronger about what we're going to do in a downturn. We need to be prepared with a preset idea of when we are going to be using that rainy day fund to protect our local economy, to protect our town resources. We have public safety we need to prioritize, but we also need to prioritize our schools, make sure our schools are not cut during a downturn, and also protect our businesses. If we have projects that are rolling on, we need to make sure that our businesses are still supported during that downturn. To prevent, yes, so I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ellen. I'll start with you, Ms. Ellen, on the next question.
Okay, thank you.
How would you balance fiscal responsibility with the need for town services?
Excellent, thank you. So, fiscal responsibility, we need to find the income. So, creative places where we can find additional income aside from our taxes. Grants. Grants could be a larger source of income if we prioritize getting our projects into shovel-ready condition and had a directional plan for our infrastructure improvements. We currently are struggling to find that plan. You've hired a grant writer, which is great. I think we could use another one. We missed out on grants 10 years ago. I think it was that long ago for our schools, and now we can see how all our schools are suffering. We also need to find places where we can save, right? Health insurance. Health insurance is an excellent place where we can save. We can move to reference-based pricing. This is what my employer does. We have free health insurance. Through our employer, we have cut out the middleman. There is no insurance company. We use a company called Diversified who oversees this program. We pay a fee to that program, and then they pay Medicare prices plus 20% to all the providers, and we can go anywhere. And our employer saves between 15 and 25% on healthcare costs. We could apply that model to the town. Volunteerism. We have high school students who are required 30 hours of community service in order to graduate. Where can we put those hours to use where the town can save money? How can we have departments put together projects that are appropriate for volunteers and then save that money and apply it to other projects that are in desperate need of attention? We need to shift our budgeting priorities to the most important items and cut the fat from elsewhere, not from our schools. Our schools are a core investment. Again, broken record, I apologize. But as Melanie Rosassi was saying, we have had $8 million in cuts to our schools since 2020, and these cuts are not invisible. We have lost music and Spanish teachers, instructional coaches for teachers, career counselors for our high schools, nurse supervisors. Gifted and talented programs are now sharing staff, and teachers are going between schools. And apparently, I've heard that we're not willing to reimburse those teachers for their mileage, having to drive between those schools. This is not fair to them, it's not fair to our students. We must deliver excellence and cannot demand excellence from our school system. We're requiring they operate with one hand tied behind their back. Sports teams. Can sports teams earn some of their funding rather than sitting on corners and doing car washes? Could they do something for the town and that the town supports the sports teams? And minimal debt. Bonding must be part of the strategy where appropriate. For the two businesses I run, we run a little borrowing, but where it makes sense from time to time, we must bond and we must make sure these projects are moving forward. Grants will fill in much of those holes, but we must prioritize our schools, reverse our decline, increase our school age to young family population of means, and then we can strengthen our credit position to be able to bond more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Mayor Cervoni?
Thank you.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
I'll take that.
I know, we covered a lot of information here, it's wonderful. How would you balance the fiscal responsibility with the needs for town services?
So this town has run fiscally lean for many, many years. There is not a lot of fat to cut. We continue to do so every opportunity we have. At the same time, you have to balance providing municipal services, and it's not just one place where you're going to be able to experience savings. We have a police force that's very important to us. We have a fire department that's very important to us. Public Works is very important to us. Our public utilities are all very important to us. And all of those departments at one time or another can be considered first responders. So where do you cut? Well, you have to be cognizant of what it costs to run government. So you do look for grants. And we are very active. We are managing somewhere between $4.5 and $6 million in grants that are in various points of process. In our last council agenda, there was an application for a grant to protect the facade of the historic train station, which is, it's something that needs attention, but you have to be tactful about where you apply your government funding. Education is important, and if you really look at our education budgets, they have risen 2 to 3% each year over the past several years. And at the same time, if you keep raising the cost of operating, you're going to have to keep raising taxes. So looking for every opportunity, looking at our reserves. Our reserves serve a purpose. We recently sold just over $20 million in bonds. And before we could sell those bonds, we had to get re-rated by Moody's. We were once again re-rated AA1 because of our fiscal management in this town. That's something that is incredibly important. And then we went and sold bonds, and we had 10 bidders, which is unusual. It's a high number, and they were bidding for bonds at the highest offering was 3.5%, and where we landed was 3.39%. That is incredibly responsible borrowing to balance our needs in this town. And once again, it's that holistic approach of all of the things that government needs to do and keeping ourselves lean so that we can continue to provide services in difficult times. Thank you.
Thank you. consider for cuts?
So every budget requires you to look at all of the town's operations. The most expensive part of running government is personnel. By far, the significant portion of every budget in town is the personnel that we rely upon to keep operating this town. Trimming personnel is hard. You know, we have issues with staffing levels in some departments, and at times when you are facing a crisis, you don't fill open positions. You look for operational efficiencies. You know, one of the things we've been doing in this administration is increasing the use of technology to gain efficiency, and we are hoping that as we continue to rely on technology more, that we can reduce personnel by attrition as we become more efficient with technology. Also, when your budget is tight, you look at equipment needs. You have to replace things like vehicles and large equipment, but you're going to be more deliberate about making your choices about which pieces of equipment, you know, which vehicles in town are what you really need to continue to operate. We have a history of extending the life of some of our trucks so that we can operate lean and efficiently, and you look for those opportunities to continue to keep town operating lean. But it really is about balancing and continuing to provide essential services. You know, you get a snowstorm and everybody wants their road plowed first. That requires you to maintain certain staffing levels at Public Works. So you have to look at the whole picture. You have to look for opportunities. You know, one of the things that we do with every budget is we reallocate our surplus so that we can keep the mill rate low and keep government operating in a way that serves our residents. You want to answer that? So in either event, you need to look at everything that government does and make sure that you're providing essential services while looking for cost savings and alternative funding opportunities every chance you get. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cella?
Thank you. So I think what Mr. Cervoni has hit on are the basics, right? And would be the exact same answer I would give if we're facing an economic downturn. So what would I do differently? I think the things that how I would approach it just slightly differently is that this would have to be a team effort. We need a team effort to identify what it is that we're cutting and work collaboratively with our departments, because these are particularly painful times, and making these decisions is going to require everybody to have buy-in, so nobody feels. Everybody's going to feel the pain, but how do we reduce that pain? It's making sure that we are listening to everybody involved in the process. The other angle is what I mentioned before, having a preset policy for when and where it is okay to use our rainy day fund. How severe is the downturn, and are we in a spot now in our economy that it makes sense for us to use those funds, and how much of it have we predetermined would be appropriate to use to support town services. The other end of it is preventing a downturn or increasing our resiliency as a town, right? We need to work on our preventative maintenance, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We need to invite and create local attractions, invest in our infrastructure and public transportation so people can save money in other ways and also still be able to patronize businesses. I would explore ideas on how to strengthen our resilience as a town. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We need a roadmap to achieve our long-term goals, and I definitely have a vision for how we get to that. These building reports that we have are excellent, and we need to work with our department heads, our finance board, our town planner to create a plan for these shovel-ready projects so we can get grants and make sure we're moving forward with all of the projects and having our buildings in tip-top shape. We need to go through the same assessment with our Board of Education, with this new plan for the high school. How do we also revitalize all of the other schools, the elementary schools, the middle schools? The goal would be to remain strong financially, but leverage investments so that we have to stabilize our infrastructure situation and be positioned for ongoing maintenance with room for additional improvements or offerings for town residents that they might want or need. Trash pickup, I've heard ideas that people would like to see more in town, but first we have to stabilize our situation before we can offer those things. Education. With building assessment in a new high school, that should improve our situation. Environmental conditions that may be holding back our student achievement. We need to partner with teachers and administration to understand the factors going into academic ratings and decline and what is needed to address it. We need to enact those measures that cost the least and reprioritize other budget items to find the rest over time. We need to measure annually whether we are seeing movement toward these improvements and successes and adjust our plans accordingly. My sights will be set on population growth and focus on options for seniors and attracting young families. The housing situation that Mr. Cervoni hit on earlier. We must find solutions to our housing issues. Between the projects that are being proposed on Contracting Lane for affordable housing and the senior housing at the Oak Boat property, hopefully more projects in addition to that. In the future, we will have reduced the housing crisis and freed up some of our housing stock, meaning that seniors now able to downsize and sell will create opportunities for families to move in. With our schools stabilized, we'll be attracting these families, which will be fueling our local businesses. Future planning. I want to explore how the Wallingford Electric Division can once again be producing its own power. As Mr. Cervoni pointed out, the demand is only going to increase. We buy our power wholesale off the grid. While these prices are low and we're able to pass them on to Wallingford residents, we don't control those prices. And as demand increases across the region, those prices are going to increase and impact our residents. So how do we have the Wallingford Electric Division produce its own power? And the answer is renewable energy as well as battery storage. The incentive landscape is always changing and will likely change again with new administrations. We have to be ready to plan and take advantage of renewable energy opportunities to position ourselves for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning for the future starts with, fortunately here in Wallingford, we start in a great place. We are in a position of strength. You know, we are one of the safest communities in the state of Connecticut. We are one of the best communities in New England for retirees. Why is that significant? Well, wouldn't you like to retire in place? So, how do we keep Wallingford great and build on what we already have? Business is a huge part of this. Making sure that we continue to have employment in this town to support our local economy. Our worldwide Wallingford economy is something that we need to keep promoting to the world so that we understand that we have opportunities for employment and we have a strong commercial tax base to offset things for our homeowners. Increasing our electrical capacity is important. We have to be mindful of how we do that. We do have the lowest electric rates in this state, and if we're going to make changes, then we need to be mindful of what we do. You know, there's a solar facility that is a tenant of our landfill. And we don't buy that power because it's twice as expensive as what we buy for wholesale. So if you're going to change the way you operate, you need to be mindful about that. We are maintaining our infrastructure. We did start our surveys. We did send them to an architect, and as soon as they're back, we're going to come out with a plan to build our infrastructure and give people a town that they can, where we can look at our infrastructure and be pleased with what we have. I've been working with the Board of Education to find a location for that consolidated high school. So we are mindful of being a place where people can be well educated in this town. Quality of life is essential. Yes, the pool is under reconstruction. It was a promise I made when I ran for mayor, and I am going through with it. And it is important that we look at the holistic quality of life so that we can promote this place as a great place to live. We are looking at housing. You know, the Kondraki Drive discussion that happened in front of the town council, it did come through my office. We are looking at every opportunity we have to promote this town as a great place to bring your business and your life, to have a starter home, to have an affordable home, and to have a home where you can retire to. And in the periods in between the beginning and the end, to have jobs where you can work and where you can live in an affordable economy. So we will continue to make this place a glowing community, one that stands out in the state of Connecticut, because that will keep us resilient for the future. Thank you. Thank you. So, understanding how the town runs is essential to running the town. If you look at our town charter, it provides a strong mayor form of government. It puts the town council in a reactive and an approval position. Things don't move in the administration unless the mayor's office makes them move. I was 10 years as council chairman. I worked well with Mayor Dickinson, but he was the mayor and he got to determine the priorities of this town. In the past 21 months, I have taken seriously the obligations of being mayor in this town and making sure that things move forward. That's what the past 21 months have been, and that's what this administration has been about. It's about making promises and keeping them. So what are we doing? We are looking at housing. We are looking at employment. We are looking at supporting businesses. We are promoting this town as a worldwide destination crossroads for businesses to come here, run your business, and support the local economy significantly and be a player in the international economy. This administration took over a lean operation. There's not a lot of room. There's a lot of open positions in employment. And the challenge is, how do you fill those positions without raising taxes? That's the kind of challenge that I look at every day. Every day you have to look at the whole big picture. You have to look at every department and how it's going to operate efficiently. You do support education. This town pays 60% of its annual budget towards the education of students. We have a $220 million annual budget. When you add to that the public utilities, this is a town that runs annually on $350 million. And every dollar in that $350 million is a dollar that we look at every chance we get. We are working on maintaining the infrastructure of this town. We are going to continue to support our businesses. We are going to continue to make this a place, a purple place, our flag, where you can wake up in the morning, be glad you're going to work, where you can go home to your beautiful home at night, and be glad that you did all that you could do within this town to enjoy the beautiful place that it is. And we'll keep doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Every organization I've been a part of, I've left it stronger than when I found it. I can organize and collaborate. I am passionate and hardworking, and I am known for getting things done. It is time to get things done for Wallingford. My mission on a volunteer and professional level has been to build committees and leadership in the organizations I'm a part of, to find good people who want to lead and let them, and support them with whatever resources I can find and offer. I know there are many amazing, talented people from all walks of life already within our town government and are just waiting to unleash their abilities, perspectives, and experiences. I know firsthand it exists because I have spent years talking to the very same people and learning from them that they feel as invisible and unheard as I do, as a resident and parent, as a business owner and entrepreneur who tries to engage with the town services and finds them stiff and lacking, and not because of the people in those departments, but because of the leadership of our town. I am looking forward to building that team spirit to move Wallingford to an amazing next chapter. I want to guide our town towards true, meaningful, lasting change for the prosperity of everyone, for our businesses and residents, and make sure that everyone feels heard and understood. More voices make us stronger. We need oversight on our town projects, which is not happening now. When questioned about who is inspecting recent tennis courts and basketball court installations, the mayor named people who denied responsibility. There are rumors our newly built police station is leaking with possible load issues. I know I mentioned all this before. The data center was not built properly with ventilation, which threatens the expensive technology within. What's going to happen when we're building a new school? We need that oversight and leadership now more than ever, and that's exactly what I can offer. Today, we have shared our vision for a wide range of issues. We have a choice before us this election season. Keep going with leadership that is self-satisfied, that currently is making progress, but not going to break completely free of past ghosts of prior leadership. Or we can break the mold and tap into my vision and desire for a superior town, for us to be the best we can be, that listens to all of our citizenry, one that other towns will turn to as an example of how to be a better town. Thank you.
And so, on behalf of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to sincerely thank both of our candidates for taking the time to participate today and sharing their vision for the future of Wallingford. We also like to thank again Ulbrich Stainless Steel for being our sponsor today, and Gaylord Specialty Health for hosting us, for making this forum possible, and for spreading civic engagement in our community. Forums like this are important for our residents and our business leaders in the community. As we've heard today from our candidates, if you have questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to our candidates directly and have those conversations, because your voices are important to both of our candidates that are here today to ensure the fact that the future of Wallingford is prosperous. If anybody has questions or concerns in regards to this beautiful facility, Kevin and Joe that are in the back of the building would be happy to go ahead and provide a tour of this facility. I actually just recently toured it, and it's absolutely state-of-the-art of what's provided here. And thank you again, both Gaylord, for going and having us today. Thank you all for coming and joining us, and you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.